AVerMedia makes a bunch of different products for different workspaces like streaming, content creation, working from home, or even a corporate office. And I've been using their capture cards for quite a long time, but I've never used one of their audio products. So today we're going to be going over the Versati Go microphone as well as the Flexi Go boom arm. We're going to be taking a look at these two, seeing how well they perform, seeing if they're worth their price, and kind of giving you a final recommendation at the end. Now, AVerMedia did send me over the Versati Go and the Flexi Go for the purpose of this review, but they are not paying me for this video, and they have no input on the opinions that I will be stating throughout this review. Now, if you do want to go ahead and support the channel, there will be affiliate links down in the description below where you can go ahead and check out these products for yourself. Now, the Versati Go is a condenser microphone with a cardioid polar pattern, and the Flexi Go is a high and low profile boom arm that can not only be used for microphones, but other products as well, like lighting and cameras. All right, so let's get the Versati Go opened. We have the box here. It talks about high quality audio, 1-button mute, PC audio playback, because it does have the headphone jack on here. Let's go ahead and get this thing open. So we have a quick start guide. We have the microphone itself, and it feels pretty good. You know, if weight is a component of quality, then this feels pretty good. It's all metal on the outside. It feels pretty nice. It's very minimal in design, which I like. I don't like things that are too flashy. It's got a little bit of a red, what looks like a pop filter underneath the grill there. And then we have a mute button, which unfortunately has a click, if you can hear that. Which we'll see if that comes through when you're pressing the button, if it comes through on the microphone, because that wouldn't be great. You have a volume control, you have a 3.5mm headphone jack for monitoring, and I believe you can also get your computer audio through that, and the USB-C, and then we have a threaded insert for putting on a mount. Now in here we also have a very heavy little tripod. This also feels like it's all metal, but it is quite short. So it would have been nice if they had one of those extending tripods where you can get a little bit of height, because at this height, I don't think you're going to get a lot of use out of it unless you're really against the desk. But I'll show you what that looks like in a moment once we get the microphone set up. In this bag, we have an adapter, so that's nice. So we have an adapter for, I believe that's 1/4 to 3/8. So that's pretty nice as well. And then we have a swivel mount here, so you put that on top. Adds a little bit of height to the stand, but not too much. And then you have a little bit of articulation, so you've got that going for you. And then we have our cable here, which seems to be pretty lengthy. And then an Allen key, which I would assume is for this, but don't know what you would need to use it for. Now the cable's quite long. I would say it's just over 6 feet. It's just a little bit longer than my wingspan. So that's a pretty good length cable. You should be able to get everywhere, and it's a USB-C to USB-A cable. So pretty easy there. It's pretty thick, feels pretty good. It's not braided or anything, but it's a pretty good, solid feeling cable. All right, for the Flexi Go, there's not a lot in the box here. If we open this thing up, we have a manual again. We have a bag that has a strap and an adapter. And then we have the boom arm, and that's it really in the box. So this arm is a little bit different than most others. It has a bunch of ball joints on it, so you can really change the angle of things, which is really, really nice. So you have a ball joint here, then you have a ball joint on this end, so you can get a lot of range out of here. This is just a standard swivel joint, no ball joint in the middle there. But having the ball joint on either end is kind of nice. It's kind of makes it like almost like a magic arm. And I'm going to go ahead and get this thing set up on the desk. We'll get the microphone on it. We'll get it all plugged in, and we'll start seeing how that sounds like. All right, so this is what it sounds like after just being plugged into the computer. I added it as a source in OBS, and that's it. I haven't made any setting changes or anything like that. We're going to go ahead and hop into a few tests first. Then we'll go into the software. We'll play around with that a little bit, take a look, and then we'll compare it to a few of my other microphones before we go into the pros and cons, what I like about it, what I don't like about it, the microphone, and the boom arm. All right, so this is a cardioid polar pattern microphone, which means it's going to be picking up a lot of noise from the front, but it shouldn't pick up too much from the rear. So I'm just going to go ahead and rotate while we talk here. going towards the back and then coming back towards the front, going around the other side and doing the same thing. We'll kind of see how that sounds. Now we're going to do a quick plosive test. Now the word plosive already is testing that for us, but we're going to use a few other words like pepper, pickles, Peter, Piper. Now we'll do a distance test to see how far away the microphone's going to pick up. If it's going to pick up really, really close to the microphone and kind of get rid of distant noises, or if it's going to be pretty loud all around. So I'm going to talk and just slowly move my way backwards. We're going to see how far it goes, how the volume changes. I'm not changing the way that I'm talking. I am staying the same, and we'll move our way back forward towards the microphone. Now I'm going to do a keyboard typing test with a position that I think is better, where the microphone is ahead of the keyboard is behind the microphone, and we'll see how much noise it picks up. Now we'll also do it while I'm talking so we can see if it tries to pick up my voice more than the keyboard. Now we're just going to quickly test some shock rejection. So I just want to see how it sounds when touching the boom arm. Are you able to move around the microphone while the microphone is hot? Are you able to touch it? If you bump into it, it's going to be really noisy. So we'll see. Now, as I mentioned before, I want to see if the mute button actually has an audible sound in the microphone when I use that. So let's go ahead and try that out. I am talking, I'm talking. I'm talking, I'm talking. So the light goes off when you mute it. We'll see in post if I'm able to hear that click when it turns on and off. So now we're going to go ahead and compare the microphone to a few other ones that I have on hand that are also USB condenser microphones. So we have the Blue Yeti and we have my FIFINE A6T, and we're going to just see how these all sound in comparison. Again, we're not going to change any of the settings here. We're just going to do a straight compare. Far over the misty mountains cold, the dungeon deep and caverns old, we must away ere break of day to claim our long forgotten gold. Far over the misty mountains cold, to dungeons deep and caverns old, we must away ere break of day to claim our long forgotten gold. Far over the misty mountains cold, to dungeon deep and caverns old, we must away ere break of day to claim our long forgotten gold. Alright, so let's quickly talk about the boom arm now. As I mentioned at the beginning of the video, the boom arm can be used with a range of different devices. It can be used with microphones, cameras, lighting equipment, other peripherals like even a stream deck or something. Anything that has a thread that will work on the 1/4 inch or one of the adapters will work on here perfectly fine, and you can move it anywhere. It has a ton of articulation. You can move it into almost any position you want. It has 26 inches of reach, and it has a 3.3 pound capacity, or 1.5 kilograms, which is a decent amount. Most microphones are going to be under that 1.5 kilograms. Most lightweight cameras, if you have like a mirrorless and a decent lens, is going to be under 1.5 kilograms. And most LED lighting is going to be under that as well. Now, to start wrapping some things up, let's talk about what I like about the Versati Go microphone. I really like its build quality. I think it's built really, really well. It looks decent. It doesn't look overly flashy. I like it. It's nice and small, made out of metal. Really happy with that. The value that it brings at $70, I think, is really, really good. It sounds immaculate right out of the box without having to do any changes, and I'm super happy about that. I've mentioned it multiple times, but having it sound so good out of the box means that I don't have to make any adjustments, and that makes up for one of the downsides, which is the lack of software that's available for this microphone. The only software you can use that AVerMedia provides is the Streaming Center, and that only changes the audio profile within the Streaming Center. It doesn't change that audio profile if you're going to be using it in Discord or in OBS or any other software, so that is quite a bit of a bummer. The Streaming Center is also only available on Windows, so if you're using any other platform, you can't use the Streaming Center anyways, so using something like OBS and streaming from there is probably going to be a better idea for you. Also mentioned during the unboxing, the included stand is built extremely well, but it is very short. Having it on your desk, the microphone would be pointed directly at your chest. I know I'm a little bit taller than the average person. I'm only 6'2", but it is pointing directly at my chest. And to have it pointed at my mouth, I would have to have it mounted up on a box or something. So I really do wish that this stand had some kind of extendable legs, or it had an extending center or something of that kind, because for you to use this microphone properly, you're going to have to bend over at a desk, and that's not what you want to be doing. So this tripod is a little bit of a waste inside of the packaging. And the last thing that I don't like about the Versati Go is the mute button. Now, not only is the location unfortunate, so you're going to have to try to look around and find it, but when you do press it, the click is heard in the microphone both before you mute it and when you unmute it. So that is a really unfortunate downside of this button. It's the only place where I kind of think that the touch-sensitive mutes are actually a good idea, because they're not going to be making a lot of noise. It is really unfortunate that this mute button, you can hear the clicking on and off. It's kind of a bummer. And now, talking about what I like about the Flexi Go, I really like how much articulation it has. I like how versatile it can be with a bunch of different devices, whether it's cameras, lighting, microphones, what have you. It has a pretty good weight capacity for its size, and I think the build quality is really, really good. This thing feels absolutely solid, and I don't feel afraid that it's going to break on me. Now, unfortunately, one of the downsides is its length. That 26 inches is quite short, and for a microphone, it's really unfortunate because you have to have it nestled really close to you in order to get it in a good position. You can't have this on the side of your desk. You can't have it at the back of your desk unless you're in a really small desk. I have to have this quite close to me, which is unusual for my kind of setups. And the 26 inches I feel is just a little bit too short. And the $100 is a little bit of a steep price. You're getting a lot of good build quality out of it, but $100 isn't something that a lot of people are going to spend. A lot of people are not going to spend more money on their mic arm than they are on their microphone. But again, that $100 is a little bit better spent if you're going to be using this on more than just a microphone. Now, talking about pricing, AVerMedia will be doing some Black Friday sales running from November 21st until December 2nd. I will have links down in the description below. Some of those may be affiliate links, and if you do use them, I really do appreciate it, as they do support the channel. So at the end of the day, do I recommend these products? And for the Versati Go, microphones are down to a little bit of personal preference, but if you like how it looks and how it sounds, I think it's a really good option at $70. I am absolutely blown away by how good it sounds right out of the box. It really impressed me, and I think the $70 price point is a good option for a lot of people. It's not too inexpensive, where this can last you quite a long time and get you through a lot of different scenarios, but it's not too expensive where it's a barrier to entry. So I think it's a really great option. For the Flexi Go, however, the $100 price point is quite a bit steeper than average, but if you want that versatility and you want that flexibility with using it with a whole bunch of different products, I think it's a really good choice, and for $100 you are getting a really solid product. If you were only given $100, I'm really curious which of these two you'd be more inclined to buy. Let me know down in the comment section below. But with all that said, I really do hope you found this video helpful, and if not, I at least hope you found it interesting. If you did, I'd really appreciate it if you subscribed. If you have any questions, comments, or feedback, you're more than welcome to leave those down in the comment section below, and I'll try to get to them all as quickly as I can. Big thanks to my Patreon sponsors, and big thanks to you for watching to the end of this video. If you do want to see any other videos where I talk about products, review them, unbox them, and talk about first impressions, you can check out the playlist right up here. And as always, stay safe out there. I'll see you next time.